Yeah, obviously they're from the Pac-12, who was the #1 RPI conference in the country this year. They've had some significant wins, and they can play at a very high level for very long periods of time. So it'll be a fun matchup for us, and we'll have to continue playing at a very high level to be successful.
Is there anything that stood out in film that you think you guys may have trouble with, or that you're going to be specifically addressing?
Well, they can score in the middle. They've got one of the better outside hitters in the country. I think their setting is really good, and I think their serving and passing game is really solid. So you see, when you get to this level, you start seeing a lot of discipline. And Utah is very disciplined, and about the way they approach the game, it's at a very high level. And this now will come down to how well both sides can execute, and over a period of time, and be able to kind of make minor adjustments throughout the game plan that we have originally created.
This past weekend, with the way you guys played against Fairfield and North Carolina State, specifically on offense, is that about what you guys envisioned with the talent you guys had, kind of the peak of where you guys can go?
Yeah, we've known all along that we have put really special runs together and played well for spurts. The heightened awareness now, the what's on the line, I think heightens everybody's awareness across the country. And so you see a much higher level of play. The volleyball season is really long and it's grueling, and there's a new pep in their step. And so they've been working for this time all year long, and now they're here. So now they're putting their best foot forward, and it was good to see.
Coach, you guys had the first two matches here at home, now you're going on the road. Fortunately, you guys did have a couple of really tough road matches this season. How has that helped you prepare for what's to come?
Yeah, one of the reasons I schedule tough is to try to get our freshmen acclimated to different environments and tough environments. So, the seeding didn't work out the way that we had planned. So now we're having to go on the road. So it bodes well that we've been in those situations. Our freshmen have seen that. And we're going to go into, obviously, a Pac-12 friendly environment, both with Utah and Stanford.
And kind of, I guess, going off of the Pac-12, Utah's definitely faced a lot of formidable opponents this season in USC, UCLA, and Oregon. I mean, how do you really see them stacking up against you in both phases of the game? I know Danny commented a little bit, but
yeah, I think they're going to stack up well. I mean, I've been just watching a little bit of film from the Stanford match that they played, and they had significant leads and kind of let some of that slip away. But it shows that they can play for high level for long periods of time. So, there's no, at this point now, with how good our sport has gotten, there's no more easy roads to the round of 8. So all of our energy, all of our focus, all of our enthusiasm we put into Utah and trying to get ourselves ready.
I know it'll be 2 weeks removed from Selection Sunday, but do the girls feel extra motivation because they were putting that 6th spot instead of a little higher? Is that something that they can carry into this weekend, or is it something you try to just say, no big deal, don't think about it?
Well, we've talked about it, and we've talked about sometimes that things don't go your way in life, and so how we respond to that is the key. And if they want to play, or they feel like putting a chip on their shoulder is the better way to handle it, and they come out more motivated, I'll be behind it. I don't know how much that really plays into us winning and losing. I hope it's that Utah is the concern, and that's now the process of what we need to do to be motivated and play as a team and stay united to get to the next step.
We talked about obviously what she and what Mirta brings to the table as far as being leaders and being captains. But Yazzie, what was it about her that made you want her to be a captain? Why did you choose her to be a captain?
Well, I think as a coach, you have a lot of different personalities, and you learn a lot about their character, the way they handle themselves through the good and through the hard times. And Yazzie carries herself like a late 30-year-old. I mean, she's very mature. She's very thought-provoking. Sometimes she'll even ask, to have a day to think about the question before she responds to us. So she is a very level-headed young woman. She has learned what working hard means. She's carried that on, and she's been a great leader even to this day. I mean, she's the one that's pulling the freshmen aside and saying, hey, here's what to expect this weekend, and let's do this and do some extra things. And after our serve and pass the other day, she brought Breon Butler and said, hey, you're going to serve some balls with me. She's got everything you want as a coach, and she's one of our warriors, and she's, you know, as I told her last week, I'll be forever indebted to her, and I can't wait to be able to pay her back for some of the things that she does when she goes on to her real life after volleyball.
The freshmen we haven't seen this year, Breon and Olivia, how have they developed this year, and what do you? I guess you've had them since the spring. But
Yeah, I think they're both on a little different paths. So you know, they've gone through a lot and they've learned a lot. I think you know, Olivia's kind of learning our system a little bit more and getting a little bit more comfortable with that, and learning how to perform at a high level day in and day out. And we've seen that. We've seen her become a lot more relaxed in our gym, which has been great. And Breon has just continued to develop day in and day out as well. You know, she's one that has obviously a huge amount of potential, and now is, you know, she can come into our gym right now and dominate our gym. So it's to the point where we had thought she might be by the end of the season, but we wanted to make sure that because of her experience and because of her how far behind she was in the blocking side of the game, we just decided that we didn't want to play her a few points here and there and waste a year of eligibility, because she'll be arguably one of the best players in the country by next year already.
It was a hard experience just not being a part of everything that we work towards, but I'm just super excited that I get another chance and that we're in playoffs right now and we're heading to the Sweet 16, and no one else knows like how hard we work besides this team, so it's just great to be a part of like the hard work that was put into it starting in January.
And I guess, like, I mean, what's kind of like the morale of the team right now? Like, how does it feel to be right now in this moment for the chance to make it to the Elite Eight and even Final Four after that?
Yeah, so I think something about this team, we're just really focused on one game at a time. That has kind of been our theme going into postseason. So I think we're just super excited about the Sweet 16. We're obviously excited to play Utah. We know they're a very good team, and we haven't really looked past that, which I think is cool. There's not a lot of pressure there. It's just taking care of the game that we have next.
Does this team have a little extra chip on its shoulder because obviously you guys weren't seated as high as you or a lot of people thought that you would be surrounding the program? You guys maybe feel a little extra sense of motivation having to go on the road and prove something?
Yeah, I definitely think finding out that we weren't seated was disappointing, and we definitely have a chip on our shoulder, and we're just ready to get out there and prove why this team should have been seated. So it's just a little extra motivation, but at the end of the day, we still have games to be played. So at this point of the season, obviously it's disappointing not to host, but we still have a job to do, and we're just excited to get out to California and get that job done.
I mean, now it's like also the first road game of the tournament for you guys, and I know you guys are used to hosting it. What's the kind of the mindset, the kind of the approach to this set of games coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it's still exciting to be able to play on the road, and we're going to Stanford. None of us have played there before, so I think the team is just excited to be in a new environment. Obviously, we would have liked to host, but we're just treating it as another away game, and those can be exciting because you're kind of away from all the distractions, and you get to just like focus solely on volleyball, which is fun.
Yeah, and I guess it's also a Pac-12 friendly environment considering Utah and Stanford are the hosts. So, I mean, Utah's playing and Stanford is a host as well, two Pac-12 teams. Are you guys kind of excited to play in this kind of environment? Does it add in any extra factors for you guys to kind of deal with?
Yeah, so I think it's just the excitement of the unknown. None of us have played at Stanford, like I said earlier, and we just haven't really been in a lot of Pac-12 environments, so it's just going to be exciting to see what type of crowd that they have and the environment that they're used to playing in, and I think we're just going to take it kind of one game at a time and just see how it goes the first game, just to see what the environment's like.
kind of went off that. I mean, you guys opened this season with a really huge crowd at Florida. You guys drew a lot from San Diego and A&M. Are you guys kind of used to playing in these hostile environments? Is that even intimidating at this point?
I think we're just used to when we play another team, they're going to bring out their best crowd and their biggest crowd, and that's obviously an honor when you have this jersey and you play for Texas. Like, you're going to get everyone's best, whether it's the environment, the team, everything like that. So, I don't know. I think it's exciting to play in front of crowds that really appreciate volleyball, whether it's large and intimidating or not. I don't know. I think the bigger the crowd, the more excitement there is. So whether they're rooting against us or for us, I think it's just exciting to just play in front of people who genuinely appreciate the sport.
Was there a point this year where a game or a moment where you kind of felt, okay, I'm back? This is where I felt I was at in 2005. Was there a moment, or is this just kind of been a gradual thing this year?
I haven't really thought about that. I think it's just been appreciating the process. I think this last year I've been really focused on just not looking ahead and not looking at what's to come, just taking it one day at a time and just being really appreciative of the moment that I'm having with this team, and just every practice, every game, I've just really been trying to soak it all in. So I haven't really had a moment where I'm like, oh, I'm back. It's just like every day I'm just grateful to be here and grateful that I get another day with this team.
Yeah, after 20 straight wins, you guys played obviously really well this first weekend. Are you guys peaking, quote unquote, or do you feel you guys are still haven't hit that spot you feel like you guys can hit?
Yeah, I mean, our talk has just been about how can we get just a little bit better, 2 points better every day. So a lot of people like to say that this is the time that you should be peaking, but we don't necessarily believe in that anymore. We just believe in getting better every day. So if that's the case, then we don't necessarily want to peak, because we still think that there's areas that we can improve on.
It seems like it's been forever since you guys last lost to Minnesota. What's changed with this team during that run?
Yeah, I just think it was a matter of getting comfortable with each other. We have obviously some young players filling some pretty big roles. So I think once we got like the team chemistry down and just getting comfortable talking to each other on the court and playing next to each other, it just felt like a lot more smooth going into postseason and Big 12 play.
You're 2 blocks away from becoming the all-time blocks leader here. You know, when you hear that, what kind of goes through your mind when you think about that and everyone that's played here before you?
Yeah, I mean, that's insane to think about. I just think about all like the middle blockers that I grew up watching when I was obsessed with Texas volleyball when I was like in middle school and high school, and just middle blockers that I played with, Molly McCage and Kat Bell, and how awesome they were at blocking and how I just wanted to like emulate them and their style. And it's a pretty amazing thing to think about, an amazing thing that could possibly happen. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like I have to give the credit to the people I've been blocking next to the past 4 years. Like I've been very, very fortunate to have like very good blockers next to me that's just kind of helped me out.
Every single game for you guys this season is on the line at this point. Fortunately, this team has had a couple of players who have been in this position before. How much have you taken it upon yourself to help kind of teach the younger players along the way through this process?
Yeah, so I guess what comes with the responsibility of being a senior, you just have to know that your experience is enough to help out the younger players. Obviously, the senior class has been to multiple Sweet 16s, Final Fours, and all of that. So it's just letting the young players know kind of what happens in this situation and how to just respond to certain things. It's a stressful time, but it's also can be exciting if you allow it to be. So just reminding them that we're all here for a reason. Like we believe in them, and that if they just kind of follow the upperclassmen lead, that it's going to be okay.
You know, I guess kind of going off of that, I mean, this season has definitely taken a lot of the team in terms of this kind of schedule you guys played. Obviously tough games, but not only that, but going on the road so much and kind of stretch that you went on the road. I mean, how did this really impact your schedule and not really life per se, but like kind of like your classes, things like that, other than volleyball? Like how did that affected like the schedule in general?
Yeah, so it seemed like this year we played a lot more games away, which was different, and I think ultimately it was to set us up for this moment. Like we're obviously going to be away this week, and it's a pretty tough week coming up. We have finals and just a lot of papers due, and I know a bunch of us will have to take exams over at Stanford, so that's just going to be a little bit of an adjustment. But we're just blessed to have like the academic staff that we have. They are on top of everything, and they basically have an entire schedule mapped out for us just to make sure we have the time to dedicate to like our classwork and exams that we may have to take over there.